Hi everyone, welcome to Friday Framework. Today I'm going to share a model that you can use to have difficult conversations when someone's not meeting your expectations. So our model today is called the PEG model, and it has 3 stages. The first stage is the problem, and this is where you're identifying and defining the problem with the performance. The second stage is the expectation, and this is where you're stating what the expectation is, you're giving feedback, and you're having a two-way discussion about differing expectations. And then you're going to define the gap. And you're defining it, you're setting the targets, you're monitoring results, and if necessary, you might have to go down disciplinary procedures. So if we go through each of these steps and just give you a little bit more meat on the bones, the first step is the problem. And this is about letting the person know that there's a problem, making a general statement about the performance, focusing on the performance, not the person, and really owning what you're saying. You need to be specific. So what exactly is the issue? You might give examples or evidence, and be factual and direct, and don't be vague. So general performance statements might look something like this. I have concerns about an aspect of your performance. It appears to me that it is taking you longer to complete work than I would have expected. I'm worried about an aspect of your performance. My impression is that your client sessions are not being planned as thoroughly as I would expect. And then you want to maybe give more details. So for example, I expected your patient review to have been completed by the end of the month, that you would go on to analyze your time with a view to suggesting where savings could be made. In fact, it took you until the middle of the month and you provided no analysis. So it's giving hard facts, evidence. Then you're exploring the expectations that you both have for the results of the work. So get the employee to first tell you what they think is required of them. Ask open questions, probe. So, tell me more. Can you go into more detail? Can you give me an example? Listen out for the differences in emphasis and expectation. And then challenge only when you've got a complete view of what the person is saying. So find out what they think the expectations are before you challenge them and tell them what your actual expectations are. So some questions that you might want to ask is, how much time do you think it should take to complete the review? How do you see your role in terms of producing analysis versus producing the review? Then we get to the gap, and here we really want to make it clear about what your expectations are, clarifying that there is a gap and agreeing how you will resolve it. So once you've listened to the other person explaining how they see their job and your expectation, you need to make it clear what your expectation actually is. And here it's really important that you're assertive, you focus on observable outcomes, you explain clearly and succinctly what your expectations are, and you clearly set a target. So in this simple example, the gap is simply that the reviews must be produced by the end of the month with an analysis included. There's no kind of room for error here. You really need to just be very clear about what it is. So often people don't perform because they don't know what's expected. Sometimes they don't know that they're not meeting the expectation. So one's got to just really address these things as soon as possible. And I hope that today's Friday's framework will help you do that in a way that will really help you, because really what the PEG model, where the PEG model sits, is that we first want to actually maintain good performance. So you want to be having ongoing communication, setting targets, reviewing, coaching. You want to be doing that on a regular basis so that you don't need to use a PEG model. But when the performance doesn't meet expectations, the PEG model comes in. If the PEG model doesn't work, then we've got to look and say, well, what is actually, what's making these problems occur all the time? Is it a capability procedure that you need to look at? So is it someone that's not motivated enough? Are they maybe stressed? Is it sickness? Is it absence that you then need to deal with the capability issues? Or is it disciplinary procedure that you need to go down? Do you need to investigate further? Do you need to maybe get a mediator in? Do you need to start putting a really formal process in place in order to either, so you may put a performance improvement plan in place to improve their performance, or unfortunately, invite them to Don't express your talents elsewhere if it's really not working for you. So I hope that the PEG model helps you guys, and I look forward to seeing you for the next Friday framework or our Wednesday at 1. Take care. See you soon.